back to another episode of Geek with Glasses Live. On today's video, we're going to talk briefly about the iPhone 5. My impressions of it now that I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, my thoughts on it, the pros and cons on it, and just do a general overview of the user experience with the new iPhone. So, I got it the day that it released, and I've been playing with it for what, maybe 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now since it came out. I gotta say, I like it a lot. There's a lot of really cool new features. The new screen size and stuff really make a big difference. I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons, and just the general overview is I'm really impressed with the new iPhone 5. It's definitely, a significant upgrade. It's not a 3G to a 3GS or a 4 to a 4S. It's a new iPhone, and I got to say some of the features that they packed into it are really, really cool. So, let's start off just from the first experience when you pick it up and you use it. When you first grab it after using an iPhone 4, whether a 4 or 4S, you first pick it up, it kind of feels cheap and flimsy because it's so thin and it's so lightweight. It comes in at 1 ounce less than an iPhone 4. 1 ounce is not a lot when it comes to a measurement, but when you think about it, that's 1/5 lighter. It's a fifth lighter than the old phone. So it definitely has a different feel in your hand. Now, with that said, I first picked it up and I was like, this feels cheap. It feels thin. It feels, like it's not made of solid materials. Obviously, it's made of very beautiful materials, and the craftsmanship is amazing on the phone. It just had that feel based on the lightness and the thinness of it. Now, I will say, after having it for 3 days in my hand and using it, you go back and you pick up an iPhone 4 and it feels like a brick. It honestly, it's 1 ounce heavier, but the glass on the front and the back of the 4 just makes it feel like a complete brick in your hand compared to a 5. And now that I've become accustomed to this and acclimated to the new feel of this phone, holding an iPhone 4 is just, it's like, wow, I feel like I picked up a phone from, 20 years ago. So, the weight is definitely a huge difference. And the screen, again, you're like, okay, it's a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch on this side, a 1/4 inch on this side, giving you a little bit larger, giving you a 1/2 inch larger display, 4 inch versus 3.5. But again, after about 2 days, when you first get it, you look at it and you go, yeah, I see a little bit of a difference, right? Then you start using your apps. You use things like Facebook, you use things like Instagram, you use the apps that you use on a day-to-day basis with that extra 1/2 inch of display. And then you go back and you look at an iPhone 4 where you don't have that extra 1/2 inch, that 5th row of icons and that extra, 1/2 inch of Twitter feed or Instagram photos or your Facebook timeline. It's insane how much that 1/2 inch actually makes when it comes to the perception and the view. You go back and I go back and I look at my iPhone 4 and I keep looking at it over there. It's sitting on my shelf, and it's like, wow, this seems stubby. It seems small. It seems compact. It doesn't seem like I have any real estate. So, the screen is definitely the two major differences with the physical aspects of the phone, which is the weight and the screen, definitely make a huge impression after about 2 or 3 days of acclimating to using the new phone. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with, what they've done with just a 1/2 inch. It's really cool. Again, I'm not a big fan of some of the competitive phones that are out there, like the Samsung Galaxies with their big, huge 5-inch, 5.5 inch displays, because I don't want to hold my phone like, I don't want to be up here like this holding a phone. And, I don't want a phone that I have to put in my back pocket because it's just so wide. To me, that's borderline tablet. It's just too big. I'm not saying that this is the perfect form factor. I'm not that much of an Apple fanboy. But it is definitely a very comfortable phone, a very comfortable device to use. It's kind of like that Apple commercial that you're seeing where, hey, your thumb goes from here to here, and we designed the new phone to go from here to here. They're kind of right. It fits really well in your hand. It makes it a little harder to reach up. I'm right-handed, so I use the phone a lot like this, and it makes it a little harder to come up here and hit that the on-off button on the top. But other than that, I love the new form factor a lot. Talking about some of the new features, obviously, we now have the lightning cable on the bottom. Obviously, there's some discontent towards Apple charging us, $20 for a cable, $30 for an adapter for something that doesn't give us a performance increase. Basically, what they're doing is they're giving us the ability to turn it back and forth. And, they claim they had to make it smaller to make the phone thinner. Honestly, the thinness, it kind of bothers me. It originally bothered me immediately taking it out. I definitely like the thinness, but the iPhone 4, thinness doesn't bother me. It was more of a weight and screen size issue. The thinness of the iPhone 4, they could have not had to put this miniature port on here and charge me an extra $20 because I literally have 4 cables that I use. I have one in my bag that I carry anytime I travel for work. I have one in my car. I have one by my bedroom. On my nightstand, and I have one in my office. So that's 4 cables that I need to replace. And the latest rumors are now saying that they actually have a chip in the port, which makes it that all these inexpensive vendors are not going to be able to duplicate the chip. It's an authentication chip to say, yes, this is an iPhone, this is a real Apple device. Whether or not those rumors are true, I just briefly read about it. I'll report more on it once I find out. But they're saying that those, $10 cables that you can get on Amazon right now are not going to work. They're going to plug in, but they're not going to charge your phone. Apparently, Apple had to put some specialized circuitry and a chip in there to manage that circuitry to allow the cable to be either way in the phone. So yes, I am frustrated that I have to spend a lot more money on the cables. I do like the new cable. It's small, it's thinner, it's easier to pocket or to put in your bag, but it's not worth the price. Obviously, the headphone jack is now on the bottom. This doesn't bother me at all. Again, I was one of the guys, before I had Bluetooth in my car, I'd have my headset plugged in the top, and then if my battery was running low, I'd plug the power in, and my phone was sitting sideways, in the seat so that I could use the phone. I like the fact that they have both the connectors on one end now, so you just put the phone in the cup holder upside down, it can be charging, and you can have your headset. You just put it in your pocket as you would normally if I'm holding the phone. I put it down in my pocket, I pull it back out, there's none of the reversing, so not a big deal when it comes to that aspect of the phone, but I'm not happy at all with having to spend the money for the new cables. Some of the other improvements that they've made is the forward-facing HD camera. I've done a little bit of FaceTiming on my Wi-Fi network here, and I definitely like the fact that it's now full HD. More importantly, when I travel, if, I send a picture to my wife, or if my wife sends a picture of her and my baby when I'm traveling and they're using the forward camera on the iPhone 4, it's a crappy picture. It was a VGA picture, and so it was like a picture that you view and you go, oh, hi, you say hello, and you're like, oh, my baby looks adorable, my wife looks beautiful, but then you throw the picture away because it's not something you want to keep because it's grainy or it's got crappy lighting. So the new camera, the new forward-facing camera, the front-facing camera on the phone is nice. I like it a lot. The improvements on the rear camera with the new lens cover. I've done a bunch of comparisons between the 4S and this phone with both photography and video. It makes a slight difference, a very slight difference. If you zoom in, you get a little bit crisper edges and a little bit more detail in the photos. But to your typical, phone user, photography is one of my hobbies. Sorry if that made a loud noise hitting the mic. Photographers are going to see the difference, and you're definitely going to go, oh yeah, it looks a little sharper. Guarantee you, your normal populace, your general user of the phone is not going to see a difference. So that new coating may keep it from scratching up a little bit. But, I don't see any difference with this, the rear-facing camera. The other thing that I really like, and it took me a while, after I had the phone, like 5, 6, 7 hours after I finally had the phone, I was like, oh yeah, I bought a phone. Maybe I should test the phone quality. So made a phone call, and apparently the other person, my wife, what I called, said that there was a very audible difference in the call quality with the new 3 microphone array, where it's doing the noise cancellation and isolation of your voice. And then I've got a buddy that's got a phone, and I made a call, and definitely do hear a difference between the 4 and the 5 with the new microphone array. So that's also a very nice improvement to the hardware and the specs. Battery life, there's been a lot of complaints on the internet. A lot of people are saying that the battery life is actually degrading the performance on their phone. I've had nothing but success with the battery life. I did do a full discharge and recharge. I only did 1 cycle. I didn't do 3 or 4 cycles. I'll probably do more in the future, but I have had no problems with my phone lasting me all day. It definitely is an improvement on the 4 and the 4S's battery, so I like that. So, that kind of covers the physical changes of the phone. Let's talk about the software, and let's talk about how the phone functions. Obviously, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes ranting about how horrible Apple Maps are. I mean, obviously, Tim Cook came out and released an email to his users saying, hey, go get these other map apps until we fix ours. That is more than enough to explain how horrible Apple Maps is. It's not atrocious. I don't like that public transit information is not integrated the way it is in Google. I don't like the flyover. The flyover is literally just, ooh, look at my processing power. I can see, 5 cities in 3D. Actually, the only 2 that I know of, DC and, I'm sorry, not DC, but New York and San Francisco. Look, I can rotate and zoom by and fly under the Golden Gate Bridge. Cool. Don't care about that. Turn-by-turn directions are nice. Vast improvement. I've been betaing iOS 6 on my 4S for a while. Thank God they fixed all the crashing issues and the just stupid recalculations, random. So the turn-by-turn directions work great. I've got no issues with that. Other than that, if you just need the maps to tell you how to get from point A to point B, I've read a lot about point B not showing up or the address not existing and you manually having to add it in. I have not experienced that, but if you need a map to get you from point A to point B, it works. If you need something to give you turn-by-turn directions, you don't want to spend money in the App Store to buy a $40, $50, $100 navigation app, it works great. Some of the nice stuff that we've become very accustomed to having with Google Maps is missing, and they need to improve on that. So there, I said I wasn't going to ramble, but I did. Maps, I give a meh. You know, it's not a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it's a meh. I see them improving it. The other, some of the other features of iOS 6 are nice. The panoramic camera. Again, I agree with all the other tech bloggers out there. It's something that you'll use every now and then. It's not something you're going to use on a regular basis, but it is a cool feature to have that's built in to the phone automatically. You don't have to go use one of the apps. I did use an app while I was on vacation in Seattle, I think last month, 2 months ago. I had downloaded a free panoramic view app, and I took a panoramic of the Puget Sound, and the picture was good. I had to do a lot of cropping to make it look nice. Had I had this app, the picture A would have had a lot less ghosting and masking in it, and I wouldn't have had to do any editing, so I have to give it props. I like the way the panoramic app works in the phone. As far as the passbook, I see that being a very cool feature in the future. Right now, it's just not ready for prime time, in my opinion. There's not enough apps that support it. There's not enough use for it just yet, but I definitely want to see a digital wallet. I am so sick and tired of every time I go into any store, oh, well, do you have your rewards card? No. Well, can I get it for your phone number? Sure, it's this phone. No, we don't have it on that phone. Well, that's my phone number. Well, is there another number? It's just ridiculous. I want to be able to just pull open the phone. And more importantly, what I think would be really good is if they integrated it with Maps. So if if I'm at CVS and CVS wants my rewards card, the GPS knows I'm at CVS, right? It has my location base. So I just open up the passbook. It knows that I'm at CVS and it presents me an offer. Do you want your CVS reward? I hit yes, and then there it is. So I see passbook as being a very cool feature in the future. It's going to need some development. It's not quite ready for prime time at release. So, there's that. The other features, some of the new mail features in iOS 6, the VIP mailboxes and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, I've forgotten what a lot of those new features are because I've been beta testing, like I said, iOS 6 for the past 4 months. So they're not new features to me. They're new on this phone, but I've forgotten what a lot of those features were. I definitely like the slide access to the camera. And the other thing that I really, really enjoy is the text back with call. If you're in the middle of something, somebody calls you, being able to swipe the camera, swipe the panel up, the lock screen, and either replying with a pre-canned message or typing out a text message real quick is awesome. I think that is a great feature that the phone has now, and I really enjoy that. So that's one of those things that is definitely an improvement. Outside of that, ultimately I like the phone a lot. I definitely think it is a valuable upgrade. Now, in your opinion, but in my opinion, if you're out there, if you have a 4S and you're happy with your 4S and you're locked into your contract, is this worth breaking your contract or paying full price for the phone? That's up to you. If you've got the money laying around, then absolutely, it's worth it. The new screen, the lighter weight, the faster performance in overall usage, just general navigation of using apps, swiping back and forth, multitasking between apps, listening to songs. The 5 is so much faster than the 4 and the 4S, I'm sorry. The video that I did a couple weeks back, it was just a very basic overview of opening and closing apps, and there wasn't a huge improvement between the A6 processor and the A5 processor and the 4S. Where I've seen the massive improvement with the A6 processor is long-term use. You use it for the day and you're swiping through and you're opening different apps and you're taking pictures and taking video or listening to music on Pandora, or I use Audio Galaxy, whatever it is that you're doing. There's no lag between those functions, whereas the 4S has some lag. And one of the things that you can definitely see a major improvement on is just load times and speed. If you open up your Facebook app or your Instagram app on a 5, and you open up your your Facebook or Instagram on a 4S and just start scrolling, you'll notice that the 4S hesitates as it's loading images. I don't have that problem with the 5 at all. And again, I'm talking about on my home network. Unfortunately, I can't talk to any of the the LTE performance because I don't live in an LTE area. I have 4G. It is faster. I get roughly double the speeds when I'm connected to AT&T 4G versus the 3G that's supported, or the advanced 3G that is supported by the 4S. My speedtest.net tests with the phone right next to each other was like 3.2 down on this phone and 1.5 to 1.7 on the 4S. So double the networking speeds. I'm looking forward to getting into DC sometime soon, so I can actually see the LTE performance on the phone. Unfortunately, I just haven't been able to test that. But as far as like network speed here on my home network, it's that much faster. It loads things faster. It gets data across the air and into the phone faster, and it's a massive improvement. If you've got the extra cash and you're not worried about it, sure, it's worth that price. But honestly, if you're kind of hesitant, it's maybe not worth that $400 or $500 for that upgrade to break your contract. Wait until your 4S is expired, your contract on your 4S is expired or is eligible for an upgrade, and then $200. I got the 16 gig. I don't need anything bigger than that. I don't have I don't put movies on here. I have a couple of podcasts when I travel, and I have maybe 2 or 3 gigs worth of music, and the rest of my phone is used for apps. I use it primarily as an internet communication device, as Steve Jobs said when he first introduced the iPhone, than anything. I don't even use it as a phone as much as I use it for the apps. So $200 for me, it was an upgrade. It was definitely worth it. And I think it's a new phone. It's not a 4 to 4S, it's a new phone. And I definitely, I give it a thumbs up for the way it works and the performance of it, the styling and the design. It's absolutely beautiful. Love the matte black. The white is awesome. I haven't seen a white one in person, but I'm sure it's absolutely gorgeous as well. But really love the two-tone black and all blacked out with the black side panels and stuff from a design aspect. But all right, I'm getting into rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video a little bit short, even though I've been going here for 16 minutes, which makes for a very long video. But thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe, leave me some comments in the videos. Twitter.com/geekwithglasses, Facebook.com/geekwithglasses. And stay tuned very soon. Hopefully you stuck it out for 15 minutes. Stay tuned very soon. I'm going to be working on some giveaways. A lot of the products that I've been unboxing lately, I'm going to get ready to give those away in conjunction with Tech Nutty. So get ready for those, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, and you have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.